Nicolas Cage as Spider-Noir is happening. May 2026. Amazon and MGM are betting big on one of the most obscure spider variants ever created. And here's the thing. If a black and white detective spider from an alternate 1930s dimension can get his own movie, the floodgates are officially open. So today, we're ranking the 10 Spider-Verse heroes who absolutely need their own films after Spider-Noir proves this can work. From fan favorites to deep cuts that deserve the spotlight, let's jump right into it. Number 10. Spider-Man India, Pavitr Prabhakar. Let's start with a character who already stole the show. Pavitr Prabhakar showed up in Across the Spider-Verse for maybe 3 minutes and left fans wanting an entire movie. And they're not wrong. This version of Spider-Man isn't Peter Parker in Mumbai. It's a completely reimagined origin story rooted in Indian culture and mythology. Pavitr gets his powers from an ancient yogi, not a radioactive spider, and his story blends superhero action with themes of dharma and destiny. Here's why this works as a standalone film. Mumbattan, the fusion of Mumbai and Manhattan, is visually stunning, but we barely scratch the surface in the animated film. Imagine a full movie exploring the city's vibrant culture, the street life, the mythology woven into modern skyscrapers. Plus, Pavitr's personality is infectious. He's optimistic, energetic, and brings a completely different vibe from the brooding Spider-Men we're used to. And here's the reality check. Representation matters. A Spider-Man India film would be massive not just in India but globally. Bollywood-style action sequences mixed with superhero stakes? That's a billion-dollar idea waiting to happen. Pavitr deserves more than a cameo. Number 9. Peni Parker and SP//DR. Okay, hear me out on this one. Peni Parker is a 14-year-old girl piloting a psychic mech-suit spider. It's Pacific Rim meets Spider-Man meets anime, and it shouldn't work, but it does. In Into the Spider-Verse, she was adorable and quirky, but her backstory is heartbreaking. Her father died piloting SP//DR, and she inherited the role, bonding with a radioactive spider that links her mind to the mech. A Peni Parker movie would be a completely different genre. Think less street-level crime fighting and more kaiju battles in Neo-Tokyo. Her story explores grief, responsibility, and what it means to carry a legacy you didn't choose. And visually, this writes itself. You could lean into the anime aesthetic hard, Studio Trigger or Bones-level animation, psychic energy battles, neon cityscapes. It's Spider-Man, but make it Evangelion. Here's the wildcard factor. Penny's story connects to the larger multiverse without being dependent on it. She could fight threats in her own dimension while dealing with very human problems: school, loneliness, the pressure of being a teenage pilot. And honestly, we need more superhero stories that aren't afraid to be weird. Peni Parker is exactly that. Number 8. Scarlet Spider, Kaine Parker. Let's talk about the dark horse of the Spider-Verse. Kaine Parker is Peter Parker's failed clone, literally. He's deformed, unstable, and spent years as a villain before becoming an anti-hero. But here's why he deserves a movie. His story is a tragedy that earns its redemption. Kaine isn't a hero because it's easy. He's a hero because he's trying to be better than what he was designed to be. A Scarlet Spider film would be gritty. Think Logan meets Spider-Man. Kaine's got all of Peter's powers cranked up to 11, plus the mark of Kaine, a touch that can burn through skin and bone. He's brutal, he's traumatized, and he doesn't quip through fights. Instead, you get a character wrestling with identity, self-worth, and whether someone created as a mistake can ever be more than that. And here's the angle. Set it in Houston. Kaine's solo run in the comics takes place in Texas, and that's a setting we've never seen in a Spider-Man story. No New York skyscrapers, no Avengers cameos, Just a broken man in a new city trying to save people without losing himself. It's raw, it's emotional, and it's exactly what audiences want after years of quippy heroes. Number 7. Spider-Woman, Jessica Drew. Okay, so Jessica Drew has been rumored for years, and it's about time we actually get this movie. But here's the thing. Spider-Woman isn't a female Spider-Man. Her origin is completely different. Jessica was experimented on by HYDRA, raised in isolation, and manipulated into becoming an assassin before breaking free. Her story is espionage, moral ambiguity, and figuring out who you are when your entire life was a lie. A Spider-Woman film should feel like Black Widow meets Spider-Verse. Jessica has all the classic powers: wall crawling, super strength, spider sense. But she also has venom blasts and pheromone manipulation. She's a spy first, a superhero second. Imagine a movie that's half action thriller, half character study as Jessica navigates S.H.I.E.L.D., HYDRA, and her own past. And here's the bonus. Jessica Drew connects to so many corners of the Marvel Universe. She's been an Avenger, a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, and even worked with S.W.O.R.D. A solo film could set up larger storylines while standing on its own as a tight, character-driven thriller. Plus, her costume is iconic. That red and yellow design deserves the big screen treatment. If you're enjoying this list, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell. We've got more Spider-Verse deep dives coming your way. Number 6. Spider-Punk, Hobie Brown. Hobie Brown walked into Across the Spider-Verse and immediately became a fan favorite. And it's not just the animation style, though let's be real, that collage aesthetic was incredible. It's his entire vibe. Hobie is a punk rocker from a fascist alternate London who uses his powers to fight the system. He's anti-establishment, anti-authority, and anti-canon. He's everything Spider-Man could be if he stopped pulling punches. A Spider-Punk movie would be pure rebellion. Set it in his dystopian London where Norman Osborn is the authoritarian prime minister. Give us protest concerts that turn into battles, DIY web shooters made from scrap, and a hero who refuses to play by anyone's rules. Hobie's story isn't just about fighting bad guys, it's about fighting systems of oppression. Here's why this matters. We've never had a Spider-Man story this political. Hobie's comics are unapologetically punk, anti-capitalism, anti-fascism, pro-community. A film that leans into those themes while delivering high-octane action? That's how you make superhero movies feel urgent again. And the soundtrack? Imagine a Spider-Punk film scored entirely by punk and post-punk bands. The Clash, Sex Pistols, modern acts like Idols. It would be a cultural moment. Number 5. Silk, Cindy Moon. Cindy Moon has one of the most tragic origins in Spider-Man lore. She was bitten by the same spider that bit Peter Parker on the same day. But instead of becoming a hero, she was locked in a bunker for a decade to protect her from Morlun, a villain who hunts spider totems. When she finally escapes, she has to rebuild her entire life in a world that moved on without her. A Silk movie would be a psychological thriller. Imagine the story of someone with incredible powers who missed 10 years of their life. Family, friends, culture, technology, all gone. Cindy's struggle isn't just physical, it's emotional. She's dealing with trauma, isolation, and the realization that the people who locked her away might have been right. Her powers include everything Peter has, plus organic webbing and an even stronger spider sense. But none of that prepares her for re-entering the world. Here's the angle. Silk's story is about reclaiming agency. She was a prisoner, a victim, and now she's choosing to be a hero on her own terms. And visually, her web slinging is distinct. She uses her fingers to shoot webs, creating intricate patterns mid-air. A movie could lean into that artistry while exploring themes of control, freedom, and identity. Cindy Moon deserves her moment. Number 4. Spider-Man 2099, Miguel O'Hara. Miguel O'Hara has been a fan favorite since the 90s, and Across the Spider-Verse made him mainstream. But here's the thing, we've only seen him as the multiverse cop. We haven't seen his origin, his world, or why he's so obsessed with protecting the canon. A Spider-Man 2099 solo film would fix that. Set in Nueva York, 2099, a cyberpunk dystopia run by megacorporations. Miguel isn't a teenager. He's a geneticist working for Alchemax who accidentally rewrites his DNA with spider genetics. His powers are different. Talons, fangs, venom, no spider sense. He's more predator than protector. And his enemies aren't street-level criminals. They're corporate tyrants, AI overlords, and the system itself. Here's why this works. Spider-Man 2099 is sci-fi first, superhero second. A solo film could explore themes of corporate greed, technological dystopia, and what heroism looks like when the world is controlled by billionaires. The aesthetic alone, neon skyscrapers, flying cars, holographic ads, would be stunning. And Miguel's personality is harsh, cynical, and brilliant. He's not your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. He's your reluctant, sarcastic, genius Spider-Man trying to fix a broken future. And here's the kicker. A 2099 movie could connect to present-day MCU without being dependent on it. Miguel's timeline is its own sandbox. You could launch an entire sub-franchise exploring 2099 versions of other heroes. The potential here is massive. Number 3. Spider-Gwen, Gwen Stacy. Spider-Gwen is a phenomenon. She debuted in 2014 and immediately became one of Marvel's best-selling characters. Her design is iconic, her story is compelling, and after Into and Across the Spider-Verse, she's a household name. So why doesn't she have her own movie yet? Because Hollywood is slow, but it's inevitable. Here's what a Spider-Gwen solo film needs to be. Her story, her world, her stakes. Not a supporting role, not a cameo, her movie. Set it on Earth 65, where Gwen Stacy is Spider-Woman, Peter Parker is dead, and her father is a cop hunting her. The emotional core is guilt and identity. Gwen couldn't save Peter, and now she's trying to save everyone else while hiding from her own dad. And the tone? Balance. Spider-Gwen's comics mix high-energy superhero action with deep emotional beats. She's in a band, she's dealing with grief, and she's trying to figure out who she is outside the mask. A solo film could lean into the music. Gwen's a drummer, and her world's aesthetic is punk rock meets pastel. Imagine fight scenes scored by live drumming, visual transitions that feel like comic panels, and a story about finding your voice. Here's the bottom line. Spider-Gwen is marketable, beloved, and ready. She's proven she can carry a story, and audiences are ready to follow her. Give her the solo film she deserves. Number 2. Live-action Miles Morales. Miles Morales is the future of Spider-Man. He's been the star of 2 of the best superhero movies ever made, Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse. But he's only existed in animation. And while that's been incredible, Miles deserves a live-action film. Not as a replacement for Peter Parker, but as his own hero in his own story. Here's the pitch. Adapt the ultimate comics version of Miles' origin. A kid from Brooklyn who gets bitten by a stolen spider and has to figure out what it means to be Spider-Man in a world that already lost one. His powers are similar to Peter's, but he also has Venom Strike and camouflage abilities. He's figuring it out as he goes, and that's what makes him relatable. A live-action Miles Morales film would be a cultural moment. Representation matters, and seeing a young Afro-Latino Spider-Man in the MCU would resonate globally. But beyond that, Miles' story is about legacy and pressure. He's stepping into a role he didn't ask for and trying to honor it while being himself. That's universal. Here's the smart play. Set it in the MCU post-Peter Parker. Don't erase Tom Holland's Spider-Man, build on it. Let Miles be inspired by Peter while carving his own path. Bring in his parents, his uncle Aaron, his best friend Gonki. Make it grounded, emotional, and spectacular. Miles Morales is ready for live action, and so are we. Number 1. Spider-Man Noir. Give us more Spider-Noir. I know, he's already getting his movie in May 2026, but here's the thing. One film won't be enough. Spider-Noir's world is rich, dark, and endlessly fascinating. A 1930s noir detective story set during the Great Depression where Peter Parker fights crime with a revolver and a vendetta? That's not just a Spider-Man story, that's a genre. Spider-Noir is brutal, cynical, and haunted. His Uncle Ben was killed by the Goblin's crime syndicate, and Peter's out for justice in a world where corruption runs deep. The tone is dark. The aesthetic is black and white with high contrast shadows, and the villains are mobsters, fascists, and monsters. It's Pulp Fiction meets superhero mythos, and Nicolas Cage is the perfect choice to bring it to life. Here's why he's number 1. Spider-Noir proves the Spider-Verse can go anywhere. If a hard-boiled detective spider works, then there's no limit to the stories you can tell. And a successful noir film doesn't just open the door for sequels, it opens the door for every character on this list. It proves audiences are hungry for weird, bold, and different takes on Spider-Man. So let's make this clear. We don't just want one Spider-Noir movie. We want a franchise. We want to see Peter Parker navigate the shadows of 1930s New York, fight the Vulture and speakeasies, and take down crime syndicates one web at a time. Spider-Noir is the proof of concept. Now let's see how far the Spider-Verse can go. And that's the list. 10 Spider-Verse heroes who need their own movies after Spider-Noir's success. Which one are you most excited for? Drop a comment below. I want to hear which character you think deserves the spotlight next. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss our deep dives into superhero movies and the multiverse. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep swinging.